So here's Trump yesterday. Let's just get into it. Here he is yesterday. I like how this is not a good sign when you have to say this during a...
I know David Duke was there.
When you have to say I didn't know David Duke was there, things can only go one way from there. All right, so here he goes. Here he goes.
I wanted to see the facts.
He wanted to see the facts. Trump's all about the facts. And the facts are, the facts, he's all about the facts. And the truth is, Rodney King looked angry. It's a sophisticated joke. It made me laugh really hard. It's just weird. Trump wants the facts. Here's a guy who took an ad out in the newspaper wanting the death penalty for 5 black kids who turned out to be innocent, and he is still yet to apologize. But he just wants the facts. That's Trump. He just wants the facts. Okay, ready? Here we go.
When you say the alt-right, define alt-right to me.
Okay, so now she's going to define alt-right for him, and watch how fast he stops talking.
Define it. Go ahead.
Well, I'm saying as
no, define it for me. Come on, let's go. Define
Senator
it.
McCain defined them as the same group.
Okay, what about...
She started, well, the senator, okay, fuck it, you're going to do it. All right, actually, you're going to do it. Let me ask you another question. All right, here we go.
Left that came charging at him. Excuse me. What about the alt-left that came charging at the, as you say, the alt-right? Do they have any semblance of guilt?
This is Senator McCain's statement.
Let me ask you this. What about the fact they came charging with clubs in their hands, swinging clubs? Do they have any problem?
Yeah, see, he wants the facts, man. There was a guy who drove a car into a group of peaceful protesters. Maybe, hey, I want the facts. Maybe the car was provoked. All right, here we go.
I think they do.
I'm sorry.
So is he saying the alt-left attacked the alt-right? I'm going to have to say, sorry we scared you, skinheads?
Well, I remember the first time the alt-left attacked the alt-right. It was Normandy. I thought that's what you're supposed to say. Well, you're supposed to do that when you see a fucking Nazi. That's what I thought. I don't know. Screw me. I'm all World War II and shit. Isn't that funny? It's like, yeah, that's the... By the way, it's the alt-left. That was started by Sean Hannity, and it was picked up by the corporatist Democrats, right? Like Marcos Malakos and Neera Tanden and Joan Walsh, right? So they used the alt-left to mean people who want single payer. Oh, fucking just like Nazis. Just like Nazis. You want single payer? What kind of communist prick are you? What is that? Although they do have single payer in Russia and free college, so I don't know what exceptionalism. Anyway, so here we go.
I watched those very closely, much more closely than you people watched it, and you have you had a.
He wants the facts, ladies and gentlemen. This is a guy who started the birther movement. He wants the fucking facts, ladies and gentlemen.
On one side that was bad, and you had a group on the other side that was also very violent. And nobody wants to say that, but I'll say it right now. You had a group on the other side that came charging in without a permit, and they were very, very violent.
Oh, we need permits. Okay.
How could you not have a permit when you're going to go fight a fucking Nazi?
Same thing happened when the...
That's what I was like, General Patton, come here, let me see your paperwork.
Same thing happened when the Indians took down Custer. No fucking permit.
No fucking
permit.
No permits.
Fucking Native Americans.
That's what they do. Just whoop, 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 whoop. We don't have
no
permits.
permits.
They were the alt-indigenous, and it was bullshit.
Such bullshit.
Alt-indigenous.
Gorgeous.
You coined that tonight.
Gorgeous. Hashtag alt-indigenous.
It's worth doing tonight's show just to get that line. Let's listen a little bit more.
Do you think that what you call the alt-left is the same as neo-Nazis?
Those people, all of those people, excuse me, I've condemned neo-Nazis. I've condemned many different groups, but not all.
Nazis,
And by
Mexicans.
condemning, I mean I virtue signaled to them many times.
Yes.
I've let them know what they're doing. I'm fucking okay with it. By condemning, I mean going. Okay.
Those people were neo-Nazis, believe me. Not all of those people were white supremacists by any stretch.
Let me just say this. if you're, and Chris Rock actually said this, if there's 10 Nazis marching and you decide to march with them, you're a fucking Nazi, okay? That's just the way it goes.
Wait a minute, Jimmy. Maybe I had a permit to just walk on the street the same day as my Nazi brethren. Well, we all had permits.
Yeah. Well, then I guess you're a good person.
You don't have the look to pull off that joke.
All right, let's listen to a little more. It's just crazy that he says he wants the facts. I like to get the facts from a guy who called Trump University a university. Trump likes facts so much, he had his administration create alternative ones.
Mr. President, are you putting what you're calling the alt-left and white supremacists on the same moral plane?
I'm not putting anybody on a moral plane. What I'm saying is that
No planes of moralness. If we had moral planes, this would fuck Mike's argument up, okay?
No one's getting on a moral plane because I have a travel ban. So nobody's...
I banned the moralists from traveling.
They're a detriment to our country.
you had a group on one side and you had a group on the other, and they came at each other with clubs, and it was vicious, and it was horrible, and it was a horrible thing to watch.
I said that about Auschwitz. I was like, why can't the Jews be nicer when they're trying to escape? That's what I said. I'm like, what are they doing? I know that's it's dark humor, but yeah. I mean, but look what's happening. Our president is a fucking KKK guy, for God's sake. What are you gonna do? You gotta make jokes.
But there is another side.
There
was
side.
a group on.
That's what I said too. That's what I said during World War II. I was like, God damn it! I condemn violence by everybody. The Nazis, the Jews, the Gypsies. They're all fucked up. I know it's like we're making the same joke over and over, but it's fun.
Side, you can call them the left, or you've just called them the left, that came violently attacking the other group. So you can say what you want, but that's the way it is.
From both sides, sir, you said there was hatred, there was violence on both sides.
Well, I do think there's blame. Yes, I think there's blame on both sides. You look at both sides. I think there's blame on both sides.
Yeah, I think there is blame on both sides. There's blame on the Nazis, right? And then there's the people who, oppose them. It's okay to oppose Nazis. That's what you're supposed to do. And by the way, when a bunch of guys wearing polo shirts and khaki pants carrying torches go into a Virginia town to protest a statue, you can be sure those guys aren't getting laid. It's a fucking Friday night, okay? You guys go give a shit about a fucking trophy? Why don't you go try to bang someone, all right? That's what,
Maybe a nice Jewish girl.
That's so wrong.
I gotta tell you, most girls, when a guy put a bloody gun in their hand, they would run and scream, but I gotta be honest, it kind of turned me on.
It's because you spent your day riding a banister.
All right, so there's more to this speech. I don't know if you want to hear it.
I have no doubt about it, and you don't have any doubt about it either. George Washington was a slave owner. Was George Washington a slave owner? So will George Washington now lose his status? You're changing.
So they're saying he's saying because the Robert E. Lee statue. Well, so George Washington was also a slave owner. Yeah, but we don't erect statues to George Washington to honor his slave holding, right? We erect statues to George Washington to honor his breaking from England and the king and leading us to a revolution which gave freedom to not everybody yet, but a lot of people. That's what that was about. So when you erect a statue to Robert E. Lee, you're erecting a statue to a guy who's only famous because he fought a war for fucking slavery. That's the only reason why you elected that. And by the way, that statue went up in 1920, right? That was statue there, so when the black guys who fought in World War I came back, that was there to let them know you're still a second-class citizen. That's why they erected that fucking statue in the first place, okay? So it's a big difference between a Confederate statue and a statue of Thomas Jefferson or a statue of George Washington. Yes, it was during the time of slavery. So that's a different. That would be we're not honoring their adherence to the slavery of their day. We're honoring their adherence to liberty, whereas you're honoring Robert Lee's adherence to his, trying to fight for slavery.
Okay, let me get this straight. But all these statues are of white guys.
Yes, but different reasons for different white guys.
They're bronze guys. They're bronze.
Oh,
A lot of them are bronze.
Okay, all right, all right.
Some are brass.
And they're right. They're right beside all the beautiful statues of Native Americans.
The alt
if you're gonna,
The alt-indigenous, yes.
Now I'm starting to get upset. No. So let's listen to a little more.
You're changing culture, and you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally.
And someday I will, but
Not today.
But not until after the next election.
so
You had many people in that group other than neo-Nazis and white nationalists, okay? There were people in that rally, and I looked the night before. If you look, there were people
and he looked, but he didn't see David Duke.
protesting very quietly.
They were protesting very quietly, because that's the whole point of protests, not to upset anyone. Right? Sometimes I protest right in my own house. I hope I'm being quiet enough. I'm not bothering anyone. Am I bugging any of my neighbors? If so, I'll keep it down. I don't want to bug anybody with my fucking protest. Are we being quiet enough with our khaki pants, polo shirts, and tiki torches? And the thing that fucked up was that I didn't understand, because last night, normally my monthly tiki torch meeting happened, and I'd get a lot of negative comments from people in the park. I'm like, this is just our fucking tiki torch meeting. Anyway, that's a shitty joke, I know. All right, let's see if you have anything else to say.
The taking down of the statue of Robert E. Lee. I'm sure in that group there were some bad ones. The following day it looked like they had some rough, bad people. Neo-Nazis, white nationalists, whatever you want to call them. But you had a lot.
I want to call them your base.
Or your cabinet.
Yeah. Dave Reinitz tearing it up.
People in that group that were there to innocently protest.
No.
Okay, that's
fuck.
there's Brian Williams. First of all, Brian Williams, I got that damn. He's leaning just correctly, just. Right? Yeah. It's like he's getting ready to take his high school graduation photo, right?
He's looking at us all really seductively. It's like we're all missiles or something.
Yeah.
He's horny.
You know he's popping a chubby. You know it.
God.
He does look like a suit model. Anyway, I could never get my tie to look that good next to my shirt. This looks like it came from the factory that way.
And then how does he not get any bronzing face tanner on that collar? I don't know how the fuck he does that. It's like a magic skill he has.
Graham, I wear a blue shirt. I got that stuff all
Yes.
over. He's wearing a white. Anyway.
Can I be optimistic for just a minute?
Yeah.
You notice it says there, you're changing history and you're changing culture.
Yeah.
So what gets lost in all this is the fact that there was actually progress taking place in the fucking South.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, sure.
It's like they took the fucking flag down. They're taking the statues down, right? There's a reason the Nazis are trying to defend something, because it's being appropriately attacked and taken away. So, right? So, I just, and it's weird because I made jokes about being a Jew, and I'm super un-Jewish. Like, I happen to be Jewish, but, my mother's still angry at Germans. She can't help herself. She's of that age. And
you don't mind paying retail?
I don't mind paying. What you mean? I'm thrifty because I'm thrifty, not because I'm Jewish. It's a different kind of fucking thing.
Yeah, you're a comedy club owner.